The Weekly Warp Pipe.
All right. This one's going to be a good one. Diving back in to the Warp Pipe, going back in time, and taking a look at some of our top Christmas presents of the past.
Presents of the past.
Presents of the past. It was almost like a
It's a tongue twister. Exactly.
Jay, I will say, has a way better memory than mine, so I think he's going to have a lot of good details and stories with this episode. We were going to try to do a top 10. I couldn't remember 10 gifts that I distinctly got in the past, so I put a couple down. Maybe some other stuff will jog my memory, but I will say too, some of it ends up being a little foggy because my birthday is December 19th, so it's hard to determine, was that a birthday present? Was that a Christmas present? Or was it a combined gift? Like sometimes I would get something big and we would just like combine it as one mega gift.
I could see that being problematic.
Right. I mean, it could work into my favor or sometimes maybe against me.
Well, I mostly mean problematic in remembering what you got what for.
Right. Right. Because I was like, basically a week apart. You're like, be funny if they got me something. It's like, oh, we didn't get the batteries. That's for Christmas.
Here are the batteries for Christmas. Here's some AAA.
Right, just get the batteries. I got to wait for the device. The Game Boy's coming or something.
That's funny.
Who knows?
Well, you want to start off, Russ, or you want me to start off?
Yeah, I could jump off here. I got a few in here. No particular order. I just kind of wrote them down. But I distinctly remember getting a Masters of the Universe He-Man figure.
Ooh.
And this was Spikor, I believe his name was.
Oh, is he purple? And he has like the little arm thing that shoots out?
Yes.
Love that guy. I used to chew on him.
Used to chew. Maybe I'll get another figure and let Gwen go at it.
There you go. It's like a teething device.
Yeah, he stood out to me. I don't think I ever honestly remember seeing him in the cartoon.
He was part of the Horde, wasn't he? Was he part of She-Ra's band of merry men?
Because I had watched the new He-Man that came out with Kevin Smith and all that, and I feel like, oh, okay, like he was in there, like a lot of the action figures. I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm like, I don't remember them in the original He-Man.
Yeah, no, I think that might have been a She-Ra villain.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
He stood out to me for some reason. He looked, freaking cool. He had, again, Jay was talking about his arm.
It's almost like a trident.
And it extends out, like, so you can, like, bash into the other players there, or the He-Man figures.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked all the purple spikes. I think that was kind of what was appealing about him, too. He just looked kind of... It was like, it kind of reminds me of like G.I. Joe and Cobra. I always thought Cobra had the cooler looking figures. They had like brighter colors and just looked more appealing.
Right. For whatever reason, they stand out a little bit more. And you're like, oh, I want the good guys, but
the bad guys look so much cooler. You find him? There he is.
Well, this is a re-release of him, but same thing.
Yeah, just so neat looking, right?
All those like rubbery spikes. And then, yeah, here's this little arm with the trident thing that just, boom, pops out. Looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
Had a good time playing with him for sure. And, of course, I had other of the He-Man action figures, so he just went along with Skeletor. And I did have the He-Man and Skeletor where it had the chest with the battle damage when you
I had
hit
those too.
They would rotate, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, look, he's got battle damage now.
I think I have... He's somewhere. I can't get to him as easily as I thought he was. I thought he was within reaching distance, but I don't see him. So
nice.
Yeah, sweet. Do you remember what year that was potentially?
Oh, it had to be young. So
like 85, 86.
Yeah, because I do remember we ended up going to Florida where my grandparents had a house. They would go for like winter or whatever, and I think I had brought him with me on the trip there.
There you go.
So it had to be, when I was pretty young.
Somebody to play with on the long drive.
That's it.
That's cool. So I'm going to try to do this in chronological order of year, okay? So I think I'm going to pick between these 2 years because I don't really remember. It was either Christmas of 86 or Christmas of 87, but we had my parents owned a house in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, and we drove down there to see my sister and brother. And I'm just gonna call that the Christmas of all the GI Joe vehicles
Okay.
because I bet I got the Dreadnoks. It was like a car, but it had like two big cannons on the front.
Oh, I have that.
You have it now?
It's fun, yeah, because funny enough, I did some video on it. I was doing my top 3 Tuesdays back in the day, and I must have
Yeah.
done my top 3 GI Joes, and I might have mentioned that, and it was missing some parts, and I had someone who watched the show send me those missing pieces,
And
and I still have it.
I think
It's at mom's.
it has like a roll of bullets that goes around it.
Yeah, I'll look it up so we could get a visual if
And
you guys are
I,
watching on YouTube.
I think it almost has like a fake wire front that covers it. And it was like a burgundy and
Yes,
like a
burger and blue.
blue color. And it had like these cool little shields that went over the back tires, I think. Um
How do you
but
spell Dragnauts? I can't even remember. Dread?
Dreadnauts, maybe Dreadnoughts,
Dreadnoughts. Oh, yeah.
or is that something like that?
There
Am I
we go,
making
there we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me do a share here. But yeah, that I still have that one, so that's a good one.
so that was one of the vehicles I remember getting. Yeah, yep, that's it. See, there's that cage on the front, the things covering the wheels in the back, and it had like this big turbo engine on the back. That was so cool.
Oh, yeah, it's like almost like a jet engine. Like
Yeah,
on the cover, it
what is
looks
that thing
freaking
called?
sweet.
Okay, the Thunder Machine. Yeah,
Dreadnought Thunder Machine.
I just thought that thing was so sick. So that was one thing I got, and then I also got they had this like swamp boat turned helicopter. It was like it had pontoons that kind of like could extend and retract.
Okay.
Um, do you like dreadnoughts like boat or helicopter?
Bu It's so weird to combine
That's it
boat
right there.
helicopter.
Yep, that's the one right there. You got it.
It's like a teal and lime green and
And it had like this big saber sticker on the front. Yeah,
oh, yeah, like a little sword right
and that
there.
thing on the top is what turned into the helicopter blades. And
Oh, I
then
could see it now, yeah.
those pontoons would retract up onto the boat.
Yeah, I see.
And it was just like the raddest thing. And I remember one time it flooded at my house and we had this big ditch that went around the perimeter of my house. And I stuck it in the ditch and watched it like float down the river, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I was almost like, could probably bring that in the bathtub back in the
Yeah,
day and
oh,
play
and I
with it.
did, yeah, totally played with it in the bathtub. And then I got like this tank. I think it was called the Imp, and it was like this burgundy tank, and it had these missiles, and on the missiles there was like a ton of little yellow rings. And those little yep, there they are. And those little rings, they were so easy to get lost. I don't even know why they had those rings on there. It seems so silly. But I remember getting that Christmas Eve. My sister was like, "All right, you can open one present tonight." And that was the present I opened the night
This one here.
before. Yep, that one there. So I had that, and I got the Devilfish, which was this GI Joe like boat, and it was like orange, had missiles on top of it. So I got that. Um, oh man, I had so many other vehicles. I
What's
wish I could.
funny with these here, like, we're bringing up, like, these like, these are, like, the smaller vehicles. They were probably, like, easy gifts, right? They're probably 15, $20, like, not that much more than what a figure would have been when it came out, other than getting the giant boat or whatever, that's probably 4 or $500, and
Yeah,
you're like, "What the heck?"
yeah,
So
I got
so
like a lot of smaller ones.
right, so I could see getting a bunch of these. This was all one Christmas, you're saying?
That was
That you had gotten there?
all one Christmas.
Nice.
Here I am.
Yeah,
I'm
so
back.
many good ones.
Um, and I mean, like there were so many more. I don't know that I can remember. Oh, you know what? The last one that I can remember. I don't know why I was like, I must have loved dreadnoughts. I thought they were so cool. I got the dreadnought cycle. So it was
Okay.
this cool cycle with like a gun on top, and it had like I think it was green also. Oh, it's got some purple in it too. So I got that too, and I thought that was like the sickest thing ever. I just loved that thing. Dreadnought. So Dreadnok. Okay, not not.
Dreadnought.
But man, I used to just like have so many battles and just throw missiles everywhere in my room. And
Lose all these pieces.
yeah, I think the
But
other thing I got was like this like sneak peek, like caterpillar looking.
that's a vehicle? Caterpillar?
I don't
What are
know
you
if it
talking
was
about?
called. It was like a GI Joe cycle. I don't remember what it was called. I saw it when I was in Ohio with Eric and Jared, and I almost bought it. It was a great price. I should have just bought it,
Right.
but I left it there. He only wanted like $15 for it, which was completely reasonable. I'm not seeing it yet.
I don't even know what, yeah, with the retro. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Helicopters, motorcycle,
I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm
this
not.
bike, rapid fire
No,
motorcycle?
it was
No,
okay. It was like a really weird one. Like he like put his head in it. I don't know if I was retro reminiscent, I would be able to remember this. But anyway, I
fair
think
enough.
I think that's probably adequate enough to see it was the GI Joe Christmas.
Yo, Joe.
And the crazy thing is, there was even more than that. It's just the ones I remember.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine like opening up those gifts on Christmas morning. You're like, oh, this one. And you open another, you're
Like
like, yeah, you can play with these together.
I had this wooden shelf at home, and I just like that whole shelf was just like full. Like each shelf had like 3 to 4 vehicles on it. It was so rad.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely had a few GI Joe vehicles for sure. I can't remember if I got them on birthday or Christmas, but
Yeah,
definitely a big GI Joe fan, and I was happy I still have the Dreadnought vehicle still to this
yeah,
day.
that's so cool.
What else I got on my list? Well, I was gonna bring up too, like we're talking about top gifts on Christmas, being a kid back in the day, what the anticipation was like the night
Oh
before.
man, it was
You
unbelievable.
you got the week off essentially from school, and your mind is like running like, what gifts am I gonna get? I'll be able to play with these like nonstop for X amount of days, like throughout the week. It definitely kept me up. Like it was hard to go to sleep
Oh,
the
for
night
sure.
prior, and you're like so excited as a kid.
So one thing that I always thought was cool was my dad did this like midnight service at the church across the street from our house.
Okay.
And I remember walking across the street at like 11:45 and like looking up and like trying to see Santa Claus on my way to the church.
Oh yeah, huh?
I'm
See
like,
if you could
where
spot
see
him.
if maybe he's up there. Maybe he's gonna bring the presents while we're in church. So that was always kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, good memories with that for sure. So next on my list, I do have I put the My Pet Monster doll, if you remember that guy.
Love that guy.
Yeah, definitely was cool. I remember I can't remember if I got the books. I might have gotten the books and seen him in there. I don't know where I got exposed to him,
Right.
essentially, but I knew I had to have him because he had books and he had a couple VHS tapes as well.
Yeah, I definitely had a My Pet Monster book that I got from a book fair at school in like first grade. Oh, dude, that guy is so rad.
Damn, they want $400 their best offer for this guy here.
Do you still have him, Russ?
I don't have him.
Ah,
I don't know what ended up happening to him, unfortunately,
I think
but
Aaron needs to get him for you for Christmas.
he's freaking sweet, and I would always wrestle with him. So he comes with the handcuffs, the bright orange handcuffs that would break apart. So, you know, I'd wear the handcuffs and break apart and start fighting with him. And I think I wrestled with him so much. I think his like one of the eyes fell out, not the whole yellow
Oh,
part, but like his like green part of the eye might have popped out from slamming him too much.
wow. He
But
just took a beating.
yeah, basically just being played with extensively.
Hey,
But he was
that's
so
what
cool. I
it's
mean,
for.
monsters and wrestling back in the 80s and all that was top shot. And I did not get a wrestling buddy. So
I
I
was
think
about to
I
say he's about the size of a wrestling buddy.
right. So I'm like, I just used him as my wrestling buddy. And
That's so awesome.
I had never known they came out with a other variation,
With like the
essentially.
football helmet, that one.
Right. I don't know. We might have talked about that on the show before, but I've only
In
seen him once in person.
in my opinion, the one you got is the real one.
Right, right. This one here. with the green nose,
Yeah,
the
that's the
little
one you want.
fangs, little orange hair and stuff. Yeah, they did have the football one. And my buddy, Tom Bowman, shout out to him, did a custom version of My Pet Monster. I wonder if it'll come up if I have add Bull Airs as his
Oh, like his
company.
My Pet Monster shoes.
So okay, so for copyright reasons, I guess he called it My Pet Monsey.
That's funny. Looks cool though.
So it's very similar. It's so what it is it's based off of the cartoon version.
Okay. Yeah, it
Uh,
looks great.
So it's a little more, cartoon eccentric on it than the regular guy.
Love it.
But pretty sweet. My Pet Monster. And shout out to David Apuzzo because I know he loves My Pet Monster a bunch and he has a ton of like memorabilia. He's got like Funko Pops and VHS and everything with it. So really
L
cool.
Love it. Alright, you ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say that was 86, 87 with the GI Joes. We're going to 88, my first year that I moved back in South Carolina, and, I remember that year moving to the church that my dad was preaching at. Every night after church on Sunday and Wednesday, all the kids got out, ran to their car, grabbed their skateboards, and skateboarded in the parking lot.
Oh, interesting.
So that Christmas, I wanted a real skateboard, like a Tony Hawk skateboard or like a Mark
Okay.
Gator or like
Like a name brand one. Like were
eh,
you using it like the wide one? Like you
yeah,
had
yeah,
one?
it was the wide single tail, round nose, big
Yes.
gull wing trucks.
Right.
Um, I did not get that. I got a board that probably came from like Walmart. And as much as I knew it wasn't what I wanted, I still had fun with it. I tried my best to have fun with it. So I don't remember what was on it. I think like a Hawaiian palm tree or something.
Right, because they had I remember going to, like, Walmart, Kmart probably more, and seeing, like, tons of skateboards with cool designs and stuff, but if you wanted I feel like they almost hindered us learning to skate because of the parents didn't know of the low quality of, like, the wheels and the
right,
trucks,
the
and it just made
bearings.
it harder to perform and get better, whereas if you went to a skate shop and spent whatever, $80 on a decent board, you're like, "Oh, it actually is easier to."
Yeah, I mean, literally, my parents could have that year. I also got a bike. I remember that I really liked because I guess I had grown. I kind of outgrown my smaller bike, so I got a bike too. But I remember that skateboard just being like, I was so happy to have it, but at the same time, like I knew in my heart it wasn't exactly what I wanted. Like it wasn't as good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And what stood out to me back in the day, so I don't know if I probably had a similar board to you, and my cousins had good skateboards, so when I would go with my dad on the weekends, he had lived at, his sister's house there, so her kids were there and they were skateboarding and stuff. Remember the hand with the mouth?
Yeah, that was. Oh man, what is that? Any other day I could have told you, but I
Because
know
that
it's like a blue hand.
right, and that stood out to me, like, that's skateboarding, like, whatever, and I saw the sticker and, like, all that, and when I went to California, I saw that painted on, some skate shop or surf shop when we were in Santa Monica, and I
And
was like
it might be Santa Monica.
that's the
What is that?
Sa or Sa Cruz, I was
Santa
gonna say
Cruz. I
Cruz,
just
not
googled it.
Monica,
I just googled it. Santa Cruz. Yeah, Santa Cruz board.
and especially with Tony Hawk kinda up and coming then, like, you wanted to get those really sick skateboard and I'm sure there was probably a lot of skateboard shops with all the
Yep.
cool, the trucks and the different color wheels and like, wow, there's so many things I can customize with it. And I feel
Yeah.
like you said you outgrew your bike and you got a new one. Whereas I feel like that's a different situation. You can get a decent bike at Kmart or Walmart,
Right. You
but
could.
with
Yeah, you get like a
skateboards,
Huffy.
they're like, okay, these are just like
It was
C brand,
I
like
don't know
not
if you remember Nash. There was a company called Nash. The board I got was about equivalent to a Nash, but it still had like the nose, like this like nose protector,
oh
these like
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
plastic side rails, and like the big fat like bubble on the tail, you know?
I remember the little, like, grinding side or was it on the actual side? I remember under the board,
Yeah,
like, so
it
that's
was on
where you
yeah, it
would
was on the bottom, but it, like, kinda, like, lined the left and the right side of the board.
right, you're
So
like,
if you did
"That's where I
like a
grind."
board slide, it would destroy the little plastic bar instead of your deck.
Right, so your artwork, I guess, could survive.
Yeah,
Pretty neat. So maybe we got some skateboarders out there. I
that's
did
it.
do a custom skateboard. I made a Tears of the Kingdom Zelda skateboard. It's funny, I found this board, it was literally someone was throwing it out on trash day, so I had grabbed it, and it was a I think it's Baker
Oh, I
was the
remember I was
brand.
like, "Russ, you ruined it."
So then I sanded the Baker off. I was like, "Alright, let's paint over this." I was like, "Oh, that's a good brand. Whoops."
Yep, it's all good.
It's all good. Moving on, you talked about GI Joes. I put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on my list, and I remember getting this. I wanted the Technodrome or like the sewer playset, but I did not get that. But I got two vehicles that I honestly didn't see. I think any commercials for. This one's called the Module Drill.
Oh, yeah, like the little thing they go through the dirt with.
Yeah, I
That's on
mean,
the very first episode.
I was gonna say it might have came up in an episode
It was on the
or
very
so.
first one, yep.
Let's see, is it so like yeah, it's like purple. It's got the drill in the front, and when you would move the
When you
wheels,
roll it,
the drill would move.
sweet.
And then you could fit, like two guys up in here. And it had like little guns and missiles. Oh yeah,
That's so cool.
here's the box on it. It looks really cool. Always love
Yeah.
looking at the box art of
The
this.
box art for the Turtle toys was great.
Rotating dirt digging drill. You got Raphael running there. So I had gotten this, and then they had like this almost like a mini size Technodrome, but it was blue for some reason.
Oh, I remember
So
the wannabe Technodrome.
mini Techno, I don't know what it's actually called. Let's see if we can Google search this. Yeah, here it is. This is one. I still have this
You still have it, wow.
Technodrome Scout Vehicle. It's called.
Okay, so it's like a fake one that they sent out to, like, scout out people, I guess.
Right. So it's blue in color. It got some purple accessories and some drills and stuff. So what it would do, um, they have one that it basically opens like an egg, and then you can fit one person in there.
Okay, that's cool that you
I
can still
believe.
fit a guy in there.
Yeah, I think you could throw a dude in there and then just drive around, but not as big as the
Yeah,
Technodrome.
look at there's a picture of them side by side. You see it, Russ? The OG and then the Scout.
So it's almost it's almost a third the size. Oh, maybe half. I don't know.
Did you feel disappointed by it or did you like it?
I mean, it was a Ninja Turtle vehicle, so I was like, okay. I mean, this works because I
Well,
had so many, almost like you with like you had gotten a bunch of those mini like vehicles from the GI Joes,
right.
and I mean, I don't know whether this was like birthday and then Christmas or one year and another, but I had gotten that those 2 items. I had the pizza thrower, of course, was probably one of the birthdays, and then I got it was almost like a dragster vehicle, you remember that one for the Turtles? It was like a drag car, and you would put this plastic thing in and rip it out,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it
I
would
do
make the
remember
wheels
that.
go, and they would zip, so I had that, and then I had, like, the skateboard that had, like, the little a
The
foot that would
cheapskate.
come out. Yeah, yeah. So I got a bunch of those little things, and I was like, "That's fine." I had a whole bunch of turtle figures already, so it was cool to just get a new vehicle.
I remember my mom had a lot of luck when we would be at the beach in the summer. She would go like yard selling on Saturday mornings while I was still sleeping, and she'd come back and she always found me like a turtle vehicle or like a GI Joe vehicle. Like one time, she found me like a Tiger Force helicopter for
Oh,
GI
wow.
Joe, and one time she found me like this. It was like this seat with these two big plungers on the front for turtles. I was like, oh, this is sick.
Oh, yeah, 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 that's right.
And
I
she
had
only
one
paid like 50 cents for them or
that
something.
had, I think it had, like, a trash can or something
Hmm.
like that, and it would, like, whip the oh, and you
Oh
probably put
yeah, like
slime in it or something.
almost like a catapult.
Yes.
That's sick.
So cool.
All right, are you done with that?
Yeah, Ninja
So,
Turtles, Cowabunga.
okay, so we're gonna move on to 1989. Now you can go on my NES Addict YouTube channel and type in, I don't know what the title will be, My Retro Life, NES Addict gets an NES, but the video is there. You can see this. You can see this happening on video footage. But I've already spoiled it. I got the Nintendo NES. Probably the greatest Christmas of my whole life.
Oh, I
Anytime,
imagine so.
anytime anybody asks me, Jay, what do you want for Christmas? I would just say Nintendo. I didn't want them to get confused. I didn't want anything else. They could have literally got me nothing except this Nintendo. That's all I wanted. And that's why I'm here with Russ today. Because my brother and my aunt put $50 each in and got me the NES. Go watch the video after this podcast.
Was it? I don't know if it was this one.
Nope.
No, that was my NES collection when I was a kid.
Yeah. Right there. Wait, that's the same picture I used though.
That's why I was like, oh, that looks like,
I
but it's
wonder if
like
I reused it.
we used the thumbnail.
Yeah, type in NES Addict My Retro Life. Because I think I stole a lot of their branding because it was actually honestly a tribute to Tyler.
Christmas with Nintendo,
Christmas with
1989.
Nintendo 1989. That's it. Yeah.
Look at that. See, you could easily think,
Yeah, see how I did it
oh,
there?
inspired by my
And
retro.
see the
You
in
got
the
to do more of
small
that.
letters?
9K in views.
Yeah.
So we got video footage of
Oh, see that skateboard that
dude,
I'm
there's the
holding?
skateboard.
So the one that I'm on is the one my brother ended up giving me, which was a good one, and the one I'm jumping is the one I got Christmas of '88.
How
That
about that?
There you go. It's live on TV. That's great. Thanks, Russ.
Nice. So,
Anyway, yeah.
so you can check this out
Yep.
on Jay's channel, NES Addict,
And you can
and see the
relive
full.
that memory.
Well, I mean, I'll just add to that too. I did have NES on my list. I don't remember what year I got it, but I knew my dad got it for me, and I remember just going over there and taking it out of the styrofoam and getting all the pieces out, like, oh, the zapper.
Yep.
Had the great gray zapper.
I had the orange sheet. Probably had yours in '88 or '87.
So I got that, and then hooking up Mario, playing that for a little bit, switching to Duck Hunt, and then, okay, they got ducks in here. The clay shooting, not really figuring that out. I probably
Yep.
wasn't that great at those games, so probably went back to Mario.
You didn't
But
just stick to the gun to the TV like we all did?
I guess
Like
I
right
didn't have
next
that.
to it?
Right,
Like,
I didn't have the idea to like, oh, I could just right next to it. But the Nintendo, I think, had stayed at dad's for a majority. Like it did because I would go with dad on the weekend, so I'd only get to play Nintendo on the weekend. And at mom's, I had my hand me down Atari 2600 from my cousins in 7800 in a milk crate full of games. So I'd kind of play that, and then okay, the weekend's coming. Like gonna play some Nintendo. We're gonna go rent some video games. We'll go to the rental store, get some movies, get some Nintendo games, and have a good time.
that's it.
We did get some answers from you guys. We reached out to you guys and asked you about top Christmas presents. So we can jump over to some of those before we get into the rest of our top Christmas list. See what you guys were thinking about jumping in the past and remembered some awesome gifts.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
So if you guys want to follow us on social media, we got Instagram, we got a Facebook page, and YouTube community page. Let's see. So we'll jump over to Instagram at the Weekly Warp Pipe. Phoenix Cerberus. Russ or Jay? Oh, is this just a stock picture? Or is that one of you back? It was just a stock picture that I used for this here. I thought it was great because I had two boys.
That kid on the left's Russ. I'm on the one on the right, or vice versa. However you want to imagine this.
For some reason, the gift I remember the most was a G1 Omega Supreme back in the late 80s, more than anything in the 90s. Maybe because I never really got many Transformer toys. I bought another one about 2 years ago because I remembered it so vividly.
I had a Mega Supreme for a very short time, and I was trying to get all the track for it so I could have it go around the track. Do you know what a Mega Supreme is, Russ?
No, I don't think maybe well, you mentioned a track now. So is it that grayish yellow, like, big transformer?
Yeah, he has like a gun for a head, I think. The toy was so cool. It's probably worth a Google real quick.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check that out. I'd say the only, the transformer I definitely remember getting was Astro Train.
Ooh, me too. I got him, and the other one that I remember really well was Shrapnel. Those were probably around 85 or 86 when I got those. But Astro Train, it seemed like everybody and their brother had an Astro Train.
Well, it's like 3 for 1, right? Transformers into multiple things, so you're like, "Hey, why not?" Let's see, we got Omega Supreme Transformer. Yeah, yeah, that's the one I
Yeah,
was thinking of one here. Okay,
there you can see it with the track over about 4 pictures over to the right.
oh,
Like,
with pieces of the track
yeah,
here and
yeah. So it was a really just like a really cool toy.
yeah, I mean, one of those, like, almost like a big base. He
Yep,
turned into, like, a fighting robot,
yeah,
this, like, rocket ship looking thing.
yep. It was so rad.
Very cool for sure. Gotta love some Transformers. Make the list. We're talking 80s or 90s, right?
That's right. More than meets the eye.
Oh, J Love's back. J
Yes.
Love says, Christmas of 91 was the best. I got Super Mario World, F Zero, and SimCity. I remember being hyped to connect it to the TV and being blown away from the 16-bit graphics.
I love that, Jen. Oh, dude, Jen texted us the other day. She said, "I was wearing Timberlands."
Right, yeah, we were calling her out on the so good. Glad to hear from her. And then we got Tyler, the Ty Gaming on Instagram. The Ty's Gaming. Super Nintendo was his answer. I still remember it being hidden behind the tree where I couldn't see it. Oh, so they did the old trick, like wrapped it up and tucked it
The
behind.
old Christmas Story move.
And you're like, oh, hey, what's that?
What's over there?
What's that one over there? Yeah, we could always reminisce of like guessing your presents, right? By what shape it is, shaking it. Like, what could it be? Is that a Nintendo shaped box? Am I getting a new game?
That's all Tyler ever got from my retro life. Nintendo shaped boxes.
And they were always Nintendo games, right?
Well, some kind of game, right?
Right. What else we got? We got our YouTube community page. Now that a lot of people know like this exists, I always talk to my buddy Ganemy and he's like, I never see this. Like if you don't watch YouTube or browse it on your mobile app, because sometimes it'll come up easier on there. You have to go to like on a computer to our YouTube page, and there's a tab that says community, and then there's like polls or pictures or whatever you want to post on there. Just a different way to interact with you guys if you're watching on YouTube. So let's see. Yep, J Love responded there as well. Said that as well. Steve versus Man Cave Arcade. Steve V here. Love the show. In 1995 or 96, I got a Super Nintendo with the included game of Donkey Kong Country. I was so excited. My brother and I played DKC for hours. I know you said one gift, but I have to mention my other two favorites as well. I got the Daily Bugle playset from Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Wow.
Not sure what year, which was awesome. And the Batman and Robin playset in 97. Even though Batman and Robin was corny as hell, I loved that movie as a kid. So I was pumped to get the playset with some Batman and Robin toys.
That's awesome.
That
Playsets were great.
definitely getting a playset stands out in I'm sure any kid's memory. Like I said, I never got the Ninja Turtles playset, but Spider-Man would have been awesome too. I had a ton of Spider-Man and X-Men figures and all that to have a theme playset to them would have been sweet. We got Bloody Bones, my Model 2 Sega Genesis. I came from a poor family, so consoles were out of the question. I had an idea that if my dad put in 20 bucks, my mom put in 20 bucks, my grandma put in 20 bucks, my aunt put in 20 bucks, and I put in 20 bucks, that made 100. Checks out. Sega made the Model 2 $100 that Christmas.
Oh, wow, dude.
They agreed. I was pumped. When Christmas Day came, our family got together. We opened all the presents, but no Genesis.
No Genesis. No. What's the rest of the story, Russ?
Trying to drink some water. Then my aunt said, "Oh, yeah, I forgot one." She told me to go look in the trunk of her car. I couldn't get back inside fast enough. It was one of the best Christmas memories. Wow, hid it in the trunk. It was the columns pack in version. But hey, I had my Genesis. I couldn't wait to play my first game when I saved up some money.
Hey,
I
you
think
had columns.
pretty good, right? It's kind of
It's
like
it's
that.
it's it's something. Just having that black, sleek Genesis probably
Right.
felt so good.
Plus, I would say too, like having the box and looking at the back of the box with
Mm,
all the games on
all
it.
the
Like,
other games, like, what am I getting next?
right.
The
That's
hardest
cool.
part was over, getting the console.
So you said, I think Mortal Kombat 2 was the first game I bought. It was a great Christmas. I still have the box in my collection.
That's
That's
awesome.
sick. That's a good story.
That is a great story.
Here, I'll have you read the next one.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. It says, I could give the generic
Well,
N60.
it's you gotta say who's from.
Oh, I can't barely see it.
Oh, sorry. It's Brian
Brian
Starlord.
Starlord 7422. Sorry. It is very small from my
Yeah,
vantage
that
point.
was a
Oh,
good
thank you so much. It says, I could give the generic N64 answer, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. But when the GameCube came out, I remember waiting with my dad at the store at midnight to pick one up. So we already had one. I remember watching him play Luigi's Mansion on it. We would try to play it, but never got far. Anyways, still am a huge Harry Potter fan. And I remember getting Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on GameCube. I remember playing that game so much, walking around the school, collecting all the birdie bots. I don't know what that is. Every flavor beans, going to the classes, and I got $100 Toys R Us Wonka bars. Look it up if you remember those.
Or a gift card from my uncle this year that I spent most of it on Wonka bars.
Oh, I missed that part. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm skipping lines here. Um, $100 gift card. Yeah, spend on Wonka bars. Yep, before the new Wonka, they used to sell Wonka bars. Look it up. You don't remember those? They were amazing. I would sit on the couch, eat Wonka bars, and play Harry Potter on GameCube while my brother or family would watch. And if my brother was nice, I'd let him have a Wonka bar from my stash. What a simpler time. $100 worth of Wonka bars?
That's wild.
That sounds awesome.
And what's cool is too, I feel like a lot of kids who grew up with Harry Potter almost is like Christmas because they had Christmas at Hogwarts a few times in the movies.
Yeah.
So to get a Harry Potter themed game and play around Christmas time is pretty cool.
Brian, sorry for missing your name.
And then we got Tanny Garcia says my Super Nintendo with Super Mario World.
That's all you need to say.
That's certainly a classic that stands out for sure. Yeah, good one there. And then I think we got Facebook as well. I think we had one over there. Yeah, it was our buddy Austin Mills. I was born January 95, which is also the year Toy Story came out. My uncle camped out overnight to make sure that he could get one of the original Woody toys for me for my first Christmas. He claims that the person behind him bought the last one, and there was still a line of 50 people behind him.
Mm,
Man,
that was a good uncle.
yeah, dedication there. He's gonna hook you up. Gotta get
Good
you
job,
Woody
Uncle
doll.
Bills. I'm assuming your last name is Mills. Maybe it's something else.
True. Sweet, great story for sure. Thanks so much, guys, for leaving your comments. If you guys want to jump in on the podcast, usually we post Mondays, and you can jump on the socials and then comment, and then we'll read it on the show. Or even better, we got a phone number. You could call in, and we can hear your lovely voices. That's 949-682-9277. Leave us a voicemail. It's in the description of all the videos in our website, weeklywarpipe.com. You can get the phone number there as well. Save it in your phone. Give us a call.
Save it. Call us. Let us know.
Perfect. Let's see. We got a few left here. I guess I got 2 left, so I don't know if you want to take one.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5, but I'm gonna be short and sweet. Okay, so we can get through these. Okay, so we left off at Christmas of '89, Christmas of '90, Super Mario 3, and a pizza thrower.
Nice.
And if you watch my top 10 part 2 list, is don't hate me, don't throw the tomatoes, but Mario 3 did not make my top 10 list. I think it would now. Sorry. I have a video of me going, Mario 3, just what I wanted. So
Nice. Yeah, Super
yeah.
Mario 3, good one for sure. And yeah,
Yep.
I love my pizza thrower. I forgot when I got it, but I would love taking the pizza thrower outside and setting up like my GI Joes and the Green Army Men
Yeah.
and like shooting them down with the pizza thrower.
That thing was so loud too. It was like
Oh, and it took like what, like 3 C batteries or
so you know what happened to me when I got mine? My brother-in-law decided to go ahead and put it together for me. Number one, you never do that because that's part of the fun. Number two, they put it in a random generic box. I didn't even get to see the regular box. And I was like, Robin, where'd you get this thing? Like from a yard sale? Like, where's the box? That was my older sister. And she said, oh, no, it's out in the trash. She had to go get the box out of the trash so I could have the box to look at. Like, what are you doing, noobs? Like,
puts the stickers in the right. Oh, I threw all the stickers
well,
out. I didn't want them.
I think they even put the pizza box sticker on upside down, so it was the wrong way. I was like, you guys are idiots, man.
Like, return this thing.
Like, I'm 9 years old and I could do a better job than you. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Next on my list was we'll switch trains here from video games to music. I was playing guitar. My buddy had gotten guitar lessons and I couldn't afford guitar lessons, so he would go to guitar lessons and then show me what he learned at guitar
That's
lessons.
amazing.
So I had like this cheapo guitar and I was hoping to get a new one. So told my aunt, let's see, when would this be? Probably 96, I want to say, 1996. And I was really big into the band Bush, Gavin Rossdale. I was like, oh, I love this band. And he had played a certain type of guitar. So I had mentioned that to my aunt. She went down to Sam Ash and she got me a Ibanez Talisman guitar in this like dark forest green color.
Do you remember
And it
what year
was
that
like,
was?
I think it was 96.
Wow, that's early. I got this bad boy. I can't remember if it was Christmas of 2001 or 2002, but one of those.
Yeah, yeah, the
This is
Tom
the
DeLonge.
first release of the DeLonge. Sorry, I didn't realize
I I did end up getting with my own money eventually. I did get one of the Tom DeLonge guitars in seafoam green.
sick.
Let's see. Yes, here.
They've done re-releases now, Russ, but they're
Right.
expensive. I bet I paid $350 for that guitar, and now they're like 1,000.
So here's similar to what I had here.
Sick.
Was this like cool kind of shape, but usually you see like a Stratocaster, right, or a Gibson. Most people know what like those guitars look like, or even a Telecaster. And this had a different body shape, so I thought it kind of looked neat.
Yeah, you could breathe in and breathe out when you got
You
that.
could breathe in, breathe out. And even with like the on the head, you had three kind of set up like a Gibson. You had 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a cool one. I enjoyed playing it a bunch, played a bunch of shows with it. I got some early pictures with me playing on it that I can't find right now off the cuff, but pretty fun. Definitely love me some new music.
Pretty sick. All right, so chronologically, we're moving on to 1991. So in 91, it seemed like I lived out in the boonies, little town called Fountain Inn, South Carolina. We lived where the fields were everywhere, and every kid I knew had a go-kart.
Oh,
So
nice.
much like the Christmas of Nintendo, anytime anybody said, "What'd you want, Jay?" Go kart, go kart. So I remember my dad on Christmas Eve. It was either my dad or my mom. I can't remember who it was. They're like, "Hey, we need to go to the grocery store." And like, dude, you got to come with us. And I'm like, one of my parents is staying home. Why can't I stay home? I don't want to go to the grocery store. So I knew something was up. So go to the grocery store. I come back and I'm like dying to see what's in this shop behind our house. And so I call my friend Mark and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Can I come over? And so I just yelled at my mom, hey, gonna go to Mark's house. And she knew I was gonna get my bike and she said, don't go in that garage. Mom was terrible at keeping secrets. So I run
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
garage, I pull up the tarp, and I'm like, it's a go-kart. I throw the tarp back down. I run out with my bike and I run to my friend Mark's house and I'm like, dude, I'm getting a go-kart tomorrow. And he's like, no way. And so yeah, I got the go-kart the next day. It was a blue single seater. This thing was super fast.
Oh man.
I probably kept it for a year or two. I had a lot of issues with it. We bought it used. My dad bought it used, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm
And I
sure
had
they're
a
pretty expensive, like
yeah,
new. Yeah.
I bet he paid 300-400 bucks for it back then, or maybe like I'd say 200-400 somewhere in there. Had a big red helmet that my brother bought me, but that Christmas was radical.
Nice. I dig it. I dig it. So last one on my list I got. Again, it's back to video games. Fun little story. I'm sure I mentioned this before, whether last year or one of the episodes, but I'll reiterate in case you guys didn't hear those. But it was so trying to think now. So this doesn't fit with our theme now. Now that I'm thinking about it,
That's all right.
because we're talking about '90s presents. This did
Go,
not come out in the
hey,
'90s.
go for it. It's all good.
It was me camping out to get the Nintendo Wii. I heard the Wii was coming out at Best Buy, and they were only getting a very limited quantity of them. We had finished Thanksgiving dinner, drove by Best Buy, and there's two people camping out already. So I went back to my house, got my stuff, little camping chair, and I was third in line. And I waited outside all night. Some of the people were like, "Oh, like we'll watch your spot. Like, do you want to go in the car?" And I was like,
You're like,
"No,
nope, not
I got
falling for that one.
I got to stay out all night." And they came out in the morning, handed out tickets to us at like 8 a.m. But they were like, we're not open yet, but you still have to like wait till we open at like 11. But we're giving you these tickets because we have X amount. So we were waiting, and one of the guys in line already had a Wii, so he ended up selling his ticket to a lady who like she's like, I drove down from New York or whatever, and I was looking to get a Wii. He's like, oh, I'll sell you my ticket for whatever, $100, so she can get a Wii. But got in, got my Wii, and I got, I believe, Twilight Princess as well on the Wii. And yeah, it was a good time for sure.
That's awesome. Did like blow your mind, the Wii?
I had a good time, like motion controlling it up, Wii
Yeah.
Sports. Like, this is cool. This is something different.
The hype behind that console was pretty wild. I remember going to Best Buy and people have signs like Wii's for sale, like they had bought them
Right.
all out and selling them in the parking lot. It's crazy.
Nice.
All right. So we've done 91. We're moving on to 92. 92, I got my Super Nintendo that Thanksgiving because I couldn't wait till Christmas. And that Christmas, my dad ended up buying me a Super Scope 6.
Oh,
Somewhere I have
nice.
that footage. Maybe one day I'll get around to making a video on it. But thought that was so rad to have a Super Scope 6.
Yeah, I never played with the Super Scope 6 growing up. NES Zapper, yeah, but I don't think I ever got one till later in retro game collecting. So
And I still have my original one. It's right up there. My box too. Got it all.
got everything.
Got it
Give it
all.
a go. Got to play it on. Well, it's funny enough. I think because didn't the Super Scope come with a like a receiver?
Yep.
So I wonder if you can just use it on a flat screen TV because it's
Uh
using
y-
the receiver.
yeah, maybe. It's hard to say, but yeah, I haven't played with it in a while.
Because with the Zapper, it won't work on a flat screen. It has to be a CRT TV.
I remember I always wanted Metal Combat when I was a kid because the commercial made it look so sick. So that was like one of the first games I got when I got back into retro gaming. I have Metal Combat.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of people when I worked at the game store would come in and they would want to get the Yoshi game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's for Super Scope. You can't just play it without the gun.
Yep.
Sorry. Nice. That's it. You got any more?
Well,
That was
yeah,
it?
sorry, I forgot you were out. So I'm gonna go through my last two. So
Okay.
93, um, there was still a lot of hype behind Sega Genesis, and I always kind of felt like I wanted to be a part of that Sega club as well, but I
Yeah.
didn't get a Genesis, but I got what I thought was the better handheld. I got the Sega Game Gear. I got Sonic 2, Mortal Kombat, and I ended up getting Echo the Dolphin. And the only other game I ever got for that was Shinobi, but loved my Game Gear.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that was 93, and then 94, which was, and I think the reason I remember these so well is because my dad died November of 95. So like 94 was my last Christmas with him. All I wanted was a Pittsburgh Penguins uh, starter jersey, but I guess my parents deemed it too expensive. But there was like some starter outlet they had found, and they bought me like a Penguins starter jacket and shirt and like a bunch of hats. They had bought me all this other stuff. And I remember like looking back, and then Tyler tells stories like this all the time. Looking back, I was like, I was disappointed. I was trying not to be disappointed. All I really wanted was that jersey. As a matter of fact, I think this was what my parents bought me. I just happen to have it out. They got me that shirt
I was gonna say, I think you showed that off in one of the
and a
past
jacket,
episodes.
but all I really wanted was this.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, something
un-
about that classic, like
yeah.
full on official jersey.
So, unfortunately, I didn't get that till I may have got that the birthday before my dad passed away. But but that was the last Christmas I ever got to spend with my dad. And I think that in part is why I remember some of that stuff before 1995 so vividly because my brain just hung on to it. So,
Right. No, that makes sense. Or it's burned in your brain,
yep.
core memory.
Yep, but those were the coolest presents I got from roughly 86 to 94.
Nice. Yeah, good years for sure for some cool presents. I'm not sure, yeah, what it is like now with kids, like the hot toys, or are they as excited to get a PS5 or Nintendo Switch?
I don't know.
Someone had a nice video where it was comparing like a kid opening an NES back in the day, and they were like going crazy and flipping out. And then it was two kids opening a PS5, and one was like upset because I guess he had to like share with his brother or something or whatever. It's like kids nowadays.
The best video ever on the internet, besides crying Nintendo kid, shout out to him. That dude's a really awesome dude. Where he cries when he got his Nintendo,
Right.
is the kid that got the N64 and he's like, yes, yes, yes. He just keeps doing it. It's so freaking awesome. Whoever that kid was, he was amazing in that video.
N64 kid.
Dude, he goes ham. It is great. He just like
Oh, right, right.
the
Here it
fist
is.
pumps are so real.
We gotta share this here. The eyes.
Wait for the pumps, the fist pumps. I love it. This kid's the greatest kid of all times.
Damage it in the
They
box.
just want to get in there.
I like how the sister's so supportive too.
She's great. Best sister of all time. Dude, that is so good. That'll never get old. Crying Nintendo kid. Watch him too.
There we go.
He just like cries when he gets his NES.
So hopefully that was fun, reminiscent of some cool Christmas presents back in the 90s. Maybe you guys got similar presents. So it opened up the core nostalgia of like, yes, the Ninja Turtles or Super Nintendo or whatever cool Christmas present you got.
That's right.
If you guys want to catch other episodes, we got Wednesday, we do Warpipe Wednesday, little shorter shows. And then, of course, every Saturday is the weekly Warpipe. You can catch me and Jay here, jumping in the Warpipe and going back for a little nostalgia. quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Joe Sheevy, Trace Livinggood, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, and Retroholic16 holding it down. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Russ Lyman. Rusly Man. That's it. I guess Merry Christmas and hope you guys have a great holiday.
That's right.
That's it. And all your wishes come true.
That's right. Happy New Year.
There we go. We'll catch you later, guys.